Alright guys, so with the new update, a new change has happened, and that is gonna be the rework of Seafarer Cookie. I think this is literally like the third or fourth time Seafarer is getting a buff, but she has received another one, and that is gonna be gearing towards and focusing on that PvE section, specifically the guild boss battle. So I have already made a video on the new guild boss battle, which is going to be the Machine God of Eternal Void, and that is going to be featuring Seafarer Cookie with Mental as well as Seltzer. However, let's go over what has changed with Seafarer, what are the changes that we thought it's going to happen that didn't happen, and also the changes that did happen. So let's go over that real quick. First of all, sorry, the power level is going to not be specifically the same as exactly what we have seen before. I did mess up a little bit because I changed the topping slightly during the time of the review because I was setting it up for the new guild boss, but the power slightly did seem to increase because of the new changes that has happened. So we have the new rally buff where the water type damage is now going to be increased. We also did get some extra damage added on to our Seafarer. So first of all, the thing that has really changed is that there is no skill requirement to use the Rising Tide. So it's automatically going to become Rising Tide. There is no pillars anymore that we have seen before. It is automatically always going to be that Rising Tide. So that animation that you see. And then additional to that, we also do have the Tears of Yearning, which is going to be the new damage is going to be added onto Seafarer at the end of her skill. So it's going to be there. Tears of Yearning is going to form, and then at the end it's going to explode and deal a little bit of extra damage. And the thing that has changed here is that the level 30 now is going to be where Tears of Yearning is going to cause additional stuns. And also we do have the Ascension buff where we have HP shield instead because of the fact that the pillar has pretty much disappeared, right? So everything that has been regarding or related to the pillars have changed. Another thing that we did see during a short clip was that we thought that initially Seafarer Cookie's cooldown is going to decrease to 14 seconds, but it does seem like it's still going to stay at that 16-second mark here, guys, and that is not going to change. All right, so if you guys do go into the world exploration here, and we do use Seafarer Cookie real quick. All right, so we'll go into here and we'll just use Seafarer Cookie. We'll take out everything here and then we'll just put in Seafarer without anything, and we're just gonna see how she turns out, because we thought because there was no treasures that Seafarer Cookie's cooldown is gonna be at that 14 seconds, but once we do see it, it's still gonna be at that 16 seconds. But we were able to see right there that there is none of that mark or that icon that we have seen before. So we do not need to use the water pillar before it turns into that Rising Tide. So it's an automatic Rising Tide, which is awesome. All right, we also do get the HP shield because ours is at 3-star or now 5-star Ascension. And also you were able to see the bubble that forms at the very end is gonna be the new Tears of the Yearning skill. So we do see the wave, and at the end it's gonna form that water bubble, and then boom, it's gonna explode. And if you do get it at plus 30, it is gonna cause even stuns to the enemies as well. And additional to that, we do have things where we are doing defense reduction as well. And additional, we are going to be doing a little bit more damage inside of the PvE section. All right, so we do have things that have changed here, where we're gonna do more damage to the enemies, as well as we are going to be doing extra defense reduction and dealing damage to defense reduced enemies. All right, so that is going to be a little bit of a bonus in order to have Seafarer be used for the guild boss. Of course, inside of the arena still though, there is no sign of Seafarer actually being useful. So if we go into something like the practice mode here and just kind of show you guys Seafarer here instead of someone like maybe our pure vanilla. So we're just gonna use this team real quick. I'm just gonna show you guys against the pure vanilla team here and just show you guys the damage and how decently our Seafarer really is here right now. Again, we are really just focusing on that extra water damage. Seafarer is able to survive, also is taking that Disciple of Abyss buff from our Doughael, but boom, she just kind of explodes. So she still does lack that survivability. She has no extra buffs like the Beast Cookies and the Awakened Ancients, where they are able to gain extra, HP, extra damage resist, extra debuff resist, and stuff like that. Sea Fairy just doesn't really have that. We are really just focusing on getting that extra water type damage, and now she is kind of becoming that one specific legendary to be built to do more damage inside of the guild boss battle. Is that a good thing? I'm not exactly too sure how to feel about that, because of the fact that you do need to go and get that crystal gem up in order to deal more damage, because the crystal gem does increase the rally buff effect, as well as increase the overall damage and everything like that. But right now the team is going to be where we have our Sea Fairy, Frill Jellyfish, Menthol Salsa, as well as Cream Soda. People have been asking, hey, what can I replace Cream Soda with? I think the only other replacement is going to be something like Crimson Coral, who's going to be able to give you some extra water type damage at the very end, right over here, and at the in addition to that survivability. Or you guys can try and just use someone like Cream Ferret in order to increase the overall damage by coming from Menthol. But the only downside is that you need to make sure that Menthol is going to be the one with the highest attack. So there is that thing as well. But again, because of the fact that we do have the newly added water type damage, and now the crit and all water type damage increase from Sea Fairy, we are going to be able to just deal a lot more damage to a specific boss like this. And additional to that, this also means that Sea Fairy will be used for certain event bosses where water type damage is going to be the key and the main portion of things. All right, so there is that side to it. But again, the buff is just really going to be specific to this right over here, the guild boss battle. I know a lot of people were excited to see Sea Fairy, but at least now she is used somewhere. Rather than nowhere is the thing, right? She used to be called the worst legendary. Now it's a little bit better because she is going to be used somewhere, all right, rather than nowhere, like I said before. Okay, so there is that, I guess good thing about Sea Fairy now. The next thing is, though, we will have to see if Black Pearl as well as Frost Queen is going to come into effect later down the line as well. If that does happen, then we might see some other fun builds happen with, the cookies that we have. All right. I know a lot of you guys were thinking, hey, shouldn't Menthol be like a, ice type? All right. But it does seem like, because of the fact that the guild boss is so focused on that water type, all right, they wanted to make it water. I mean, it doesn't really matter, I guess. Just the appearance, though, and the color scheme does fit ice a lot more, but we do have it as water as of right now. All right, but that is pretty much what we got for Sea Fairy. Again, it's a big change, but not big enough to make a difference inside of the meta for the Kingdom Arena. But it is going to be enough to make it so that the guild boss battle is going to be important with Sea Fairy. And then also additional to that, again, we might see it so that Sea Fairy might come into the meta for the, event bosses later down the line. Once we have more, water type focused events come out, something like, again, we might see it from the boss rushes and things like that. But let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about Sea Fairy. Again, Sea Fairy, the first legendary who was used so much, fell down all the way to the bottom, and then now has come back up slightly for the guild meta. So that is pretty much what we got. Again, not too many changes, it's just slight changes. Some people are kind of sad about the defense reduction even being only 15%. It definitely could have been a lot more, but yeah, Sea Fairy buff. I know a lot of people were asking me about it, so hope you guys found the video helpful. And yeah, we'll see how other things go, especially once the Guild Siege comes out.